Hi, everybody. My name's Daniel Korbel. I'm a bridge professional living in Las Vegas, even though I'm Canadian, technically speaking. And I'm excited to be your IntoBridge guest expert today. Let's dive right in. Here we have 15 points in a balanced hand. I think everyone knows what to do with this one. Okay. And then it looks like partners transferring. I always like it when I have a fit when partner transfers because it's always more comfortable playing like in two spades when you have a spade fit than when you don't. It's always easier. This is an interesting decision here. We could choose either to play in spades or to play in 3-note trump, even though we have spades. Given that it's match, I usually choose 3-note trump when this is the case. In fact, with my expert partners, we gear our system so that my partner sequence here is almost always a 5-3-3-2 hand. And that's basically to allow you to judge accurately on whether to play 3-note trump or a major. In this case, the club suit is a little dicey because we don't really have a good club stopper. We have pretty good heart and diamond stoppers. The 10 of diamonds is a really nice card to have because if partner has anything at all in diamonds, like jack double 10 or queen double 10, our 10 is going to be a second stopper. Given that our only real flaw here is the club stopper, I'm going to gamble that no trump is going to take the same tricks as spades. It won't always be the case, but I think it's the percentage act. In fact, if you believe the opening lead book that was written about 5 years ago by David Bork, when they ran all the simulations, it shows that no trump takes, it's easier to make 3-note trump when both hands are flat than it is to make 5-note major. Okay, interesting. So our concerns about the club suit were kind of valid, but also kind of not. We still have these club losers, whether we're in no trump or in spades. And this 2 of clubs lead is to be believed the suit's got to be 4-3. So that's a really good thing for us because then we're not down off the top in the club suit. Assuming the spades run, it's not a sure thing, but assuming they do, we have 8 top tricks and we'll probably need a heart finesse for our 9th trick, unless we do something really fancy. In any case, there's not much to do here except see what happens to us in the club suit. Once in a while, our queen wins the trick if the person on our left led from the ace king. That does not appear to be the case. In my experience in my life, I've never had an opponent win the king of clubs like that at trick 1 and then fire the jack back when they themselves hold the ace. So I would think 999 times out of 1,000, unless East pulled the wrong card out of their hand, the ace of clubs is with West. And so there's not much point in covering with the queen. And I know the robots are probably very honest, and the 2 of clubs is a 4th best lead, which means East started with 3 and has another club. But I'm just going to play low because if that's king jack doubleton, then East won't be able to get over to West. So this is interesting. East switched to a heart. This is not promising. I'm not happy about this because it sure looks like the king of hearts is with West, because otherwise what is East even doing here? So if I finesse, West is going to win the trick and might cash a bunch of clubs. If clubs are 5-2, West would know to cash the clubs. If they're 4-3, West might worry that we still have to guard a queen because East did something weird and switched away from clubs, which is something he would always do if he didn't have any more clubs, right? But he might just play his other club if he had the third. So I'm kind of feeling like there's 2 sensible things we could do here. We could go up with the ace and just cash out and hope maybe West makes a mistake and does something like throws a club away. In addition, if West has the queen and the jack of diamonds and the king of hearts and his clubs, he's not going to get the whole lot of those cards and he's going to have to throw a winner away. And so playing the ace of hearts here could actually be the best chance of making our contract, believe it or not. On the other hand, if we play low and West wins the king of hearts, he might be afraid to play the king of clubs, thinking he might be setting up our queen if we have queen X of clubs, and he might make a mistake and not play the king of clubs and play something else. And then we would have 9 tricks, right? 3 hearts, 2 diamonds, and presumably the rest of the spades. So in a spot like this, I'm personally quite certain that King of Hearts is very likely to be with West, because otherwise this is a really dangerous switch by East. And I'm just thinking to myself, what's more likely? Is West going to make a mistake by not cashing his clubs if I play low? Or is it more likely that West either makes a mistake or is squeezed if I play the Ace of Hearts now and run my spades? And I haven't played against these robots enough to know what they're like. I know in real life, I would play low because I think West would be more likely to make the mistake of not cashing clubs. Because in real life, people usually play the third round of clubs when they're East here. So I'm thinking in real life, I would definitely finesse. And I'm hoping maybe here, it's maybe possible that Leah can count that I have too many tricks and is just going to play a King of Clubs out of desperation. I'm guessing the robots are quite good at counting. So I think I'm going to go up with the ace. This could look very silly if East has the King of Hearts, but I just don't believe that they do. I don't think it matters much how to cash the spades suit. I'm never going to take any fancy finesses unless somebody shows out. So I'm just going to play them in a normal way here. Okay, the spades are running. That's lovely. Now East, it did something smart. They threw their other club away. So now West knows their clubs are running. Notice East's other club was the 10. So the clubs were actually going to be blocked if I'd covered with the queen. But with the King of Hearts with West anyway, East was going to play a heart. But this means I don't have to keep my Queen of Clubs anymore. The 7 of Clubs is a viable card that's just as good as the Queen in forcing West to keep at least one club in their hand. And I'm not fooling West anymore because West knows that the Queen is the last club. Now notice what happens on this trick. West has 2 clubs and the King of Hearts, presumably. So he can only keep 2 diamonds in his hand. So if he started with the Queen and the Jack, they're falling. So West's last 3 cards are almost certainly the King of Hearts, the 2 clubs, and 2 diamonds. So I'm just going to test and see if West has the Queen and Jack of diamonds or not. He does not. It looks like from the 9, he has the Queen or the Jack, but not both. So I just can never make this hand unless East has the King of Hearts. So I'm just going to lead it. That was a mistake. I miscounted my tricks. I should have cashed out. At this point, West is going to take 2 clubs now, which I did not have to give it. I know it's all the same. It's all the same. Okay, so I'm down 1. Nothing I could really do to make it. I guess maybe it'd be interesting to see if any of you take the hard finesse, if you end up in the same spot, if West plunks down the Ace of Clubs or exits with something else. Pretty interesting hand to start with. There's a lot of interesting stuff in bridge. You know, you can sometimes sort of gauge where cards are. You can judge, like in this case, you know, my bridge instincts and hopefully yours too, just sort of tell you the King of Hearts is with West, right? Because no East is going to just switch to the King of Hearts at trick 3 like that with the Queen and the dummy and you having opened a strong note trump. It's just so reckless. They would probably play a dime or maybe even spade or, you know, they're obviously just going to play their 3rd club a lot of the time. Okay, next, our hand got even better. 20 points this time. That is a tune-up trouble thing. Our partner is bidding statement. So even though we're 4-3-3, we don't lie in response to statement ever. And partner is looking for hearts, it looks like. Okay, so that's a reasonable dummy. We have 26 points. Unfortunately, these hands don't fit that well because our clubs are a little dicey. This would be such a better contract if one of us had, say, the 10 of clubs in our hands. So what are we going to do? We can probably, it's going to be a club to an honor and we could duck it or we could win it. If we win it, then we have a positional stopper against West still. So if West ever gets in, he couldn't lead more clubs profitably. He would have to do something else. If we duck clubs twice and win the 3rd round, now we presumably very likely shut East out of clubs. And now we can take a heart finesse safely into East. This is actually another very interesting spot where it's not clear what to do. Because if West has the ace of spades, we probably want to win the first club and lay a spade and knock that ace out. But we still might need West to have the king of hearts as well. Otherwise, we're going to probably take the hearts finesse to East, I would think. And then East would get in to lead through our jack of clubs eventually anyway. If we duck twice, we're just hoping that East has the ace of spades. Because if East has the ace of spades, we don't really care who has the king of hearts anymore, because we're going to be able to finesse the heart to East, and East won't be able to hurt us. So this is not a play I make very often. Usually with ace jack third, it's right to keep your positional stopper against the one player, because at least it has some value. Ducking twice often gives up the value of your jack of clubs. It's almost like your jack of clubs is deuce if you do that. But I think this time, I think it's better to hope that East has the ace of spades, because if East has the ace of spades, then we're just going to make it. But if we hope that West has the ace of spades, we still need West to also have the king of hearts. So we need two things to happen instead of one. So I'm actually going to duck 2 rounds of clubs and hope for the best. Obviously, if clubs are, oh, well, okay, all of that rambling that I just did, you're probably bored senseless because you've already played this hand and you know I'm about to win a jack of clubs. What to do now? So it definitely makes sense to knock out the ace of spades first. We do not want to take a hard finesse, because West is the hand that we're kind of scared of. They're probably the hand that if anyone has 5 clubs, it's going to be West, right? The only way West is ever going to get in is with the ace of spades. So we don't really want to let him do that when our club is knocked out. So it's definitely correct to knock out the ace of spades first. And we're not going to stop until it's gone. Okay, West is going to continue the club attack. Now, if we're really super greedy, we could win this trick and hope the hearts on side, the diamonds on side, the hearts break or the diamonds break, and we can throw our 4 clubs away. But to me, that feels super greedy, because West already found a lead that isn't right. And it's asking a lot, in my opinion, for everything to be working. And if we win this trick and we're wrong, we're going down, right? If we win this trick and finesse a heart and East wins it, we're going to feel sick. So I'm just going to take the safer route and duck. It certainly looks like the clubs could be 5-3, but if they're 4-4, we're safe anyway. I'm definitely just going to take a hard finesse now. Okay, it looks like clubs were, in fact, 4-4, so this was all relevant, and of course our hand's good. Okay, so it turned out it didn't matter what order we played our cards, and it's probably a very flat board. But there's still interesting things to think about. So on a hand like that one, it was flat and it was boring, right? And you guys can see it literally didn't matter what I did. Oh, it did. Okay. It looks like I could have finessed the diamond and split those 3-3 and made 10 tricks. But why would you take a diamond finesse requiring also like luck when you could just definitely set up tricks in the hearts? That's an absurd line play. But my point is basically like, there's a lot to think about and a lot to play on the hands. And sometimes it doesn't matter and sometimes it does, right? So it's good in general if you're always being careful and doing the best percentage thing in the long run, you're going to do a lot better because there's going to be a percentage of the hands where it matters. Okay, here we have 16 points. They're pretty nice. This is definitely more than a minimum. And it's got the values for a 3-heart bid. And I just feel like it's a pretty normal thing to do. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay, looks like 2 hearts might have been more successful. Well, we have 2 clubs, a spade, and a heart to lose off the top. And on top of that, they're threatening a diamond rush or the hearts might not break. How do we want to approach this? So we could try to steal some tricks, or we could try to play it in a technically sound way. I don't know how likely they are to lead doubleton queens versus singleton queens. I also don't know how likely they are to duck aces. There's a bunch of things. When I'm approaching a hand like this, I might consider a whole bunch of different possible lines, right? Because it looks like we're going to go down. It looks like we're going to lose 2 clubs, a spade, and at least 2 hearts, unless we're very, very lucky. and find like Jack 10 doubleton of hearts or something like that. And that to me makes me think, okay, what can I do about it? So obviously, eventually we could draw trumps and discard our clubs on something like spades or the diamonds, but that's a long way away, and that they're going to have a lot of time to switch to clubs, which they probably will. Another thing we could try to do is win this in the dummy and lead the 9 of spades and hope East ducks the ace. I don't really like that because it's very likely that either West has the ace and we're never seeing the dummy again. And this is just a really bad idea, almost making sure they're going to be able to get some roughs if they want them. Or East has the ace and wins it. Or we could win this diamond in our hand and just leave the king of spades and hope that they don't get a diamond rough and don't take their club tricks. Again, I don't really like that because I don't think this defense is going to be that hard for them. Like they're going to be staring at the queen jack of spades over there. They're going to be panicking. They're going to be thinking, oh crap, we better take our winners while we can. They're not going to be thinking, let's, exit passively, let declare do his own work. They're going to be afraid of those queen jack of spades. But I don't think those plans are going to work. So I think the plans that are most likely to limit my losses is just to get rid of the trumps. Now the question is, are we going to win this in the dummy or in our hand? If we win it in the dummy, we have the advantage. We get to lead toward the king, queen of hearts. If we win it in our hand, we have the advantage that we could still get to dummy later, possibly. I don't think getting to dummy later is that valuable here. I also don't think leading toward the hearts is that valuable here either. Because let's say we lead toward the heart, we're surely going to put in the king, I would think. There, you could put in the 9, hoping for the jack 10 on side, but that isn't necessarily mathematically any better, because if you do that, you're going to be so happy if it's jack 10 on side, but you're going to be so sad if it's like jack 4 or 10-6 offside, where you just lose a trick for no reason. So I'm not sure there's much value here, because my plan really is to either lead a heart to the king or lead the king of hearts and then lead the queen of hearts next, hoping for a 3-3 split or a doubleton honor to fall so I can power out the rest of the trumps. So I think what I'm actually going to do is just win it in my hand and lead the hearts from my hand, because that way, if they really screw up the defense, I might be able to use those diamonds later to maybe throw the king of spades away or something. What's the downside? The downside is they might win the first heart and get the partner diamond rough. Whereas if I win it in the dummy and lead the 2 of hearts, they might duck, but I'm not too worried about that. They also might get, I realize I'm rambling, but these hands are actually really interesting. They also might get a club rush, right? If anyone has a doubleton club, they'll be able to switch to clubs and get a rush. So it might actually be better to lead the heart from dummy, because if East has the ace, their natural play is to play the second hand low, right? That's what we're all trained to do. And then I might, if I'm lucky, be able to strip somebody out of enough hearts that they don't get as many roughs. The downside of that is I'm never giving myself a chance to make the hand, really, because it'll be really hard for them to miss the pen from there when I have no way to get to the dot. You know what? I'm giving up on this hand, and I just want to try to go down the least. So I'm just going to do that. Lead hearts from the dummy. So you can see West won the ace. So there was absolutely no advantage to doing this. And even worse, West didn't continue diamonds. So I'm worried that was a singleton, and I'm just about to run it to a cross row. So I'm going to false card with a high club here to just make their lives a little more confusing. East appears to be signaling with the high diamond, so he must have the ace of spades also. Do I want to false card with the queen of clubs? If I do that, West will probably switch to spades, which means he'll get another diamond rough. On the other hand, if I don't do that, maybe he would consider playing a club. And if they're 3-3, then I'll lose. I'll be in to draw trumps. What's more likely? I don't know. I'm going to not false card and hope he plays the club and that East doesn't rough it. Okay, despite East signaling with his high diamond, West gave him a club rough. This is really bad. I'm losing the maximum number of tricks. I don't know there's anything I could do about it, except had I won the diamond in my hand and tried to sneak the queen of hearts through, I might have gotten rid of one round of trumps and gone down less. This is a really vicious, it's unlikely to work when West has ace jack of hearts though. This was a very vicious hand. The only silver lining is that it looks like they could have made 3 spades. Not much of a silver lining when I went down 4. This is not going so well today yet. All right. So we have enough to make a 2/1, which is game forcing. Okay. Our partner's splintering into diamonds. So in theory, that shows 4-card trump support for us, and a singleton diamond, maybe a void. So what do we do when partner raises us? We always reevaluate our hand based on the information we have. This is a critically important step in good bidding. Let's take a look at what we've learned. Our partner is short in diamonds. That is great because we have diamond lengths, which means we'll be able to trump our diamonds in dummy. So all these diamonds that are losers are not really losers anymore in a way. It's bad for the value of the king of diamonds though, which isn't going to be pulling its full weight because it's opposite shortness. So even if we set it up, it's just going to be sitting there, controlling the diamond suit like the king does once the ace is gone, but partner's trumps control the diamond suit. So it's really not as valuable. So I would say that's sort of neutral. So I'd say because we have so many diamonds, the splinter is good for us because it's taking care of a lot of our hand. So let's assume we have one diamond loser. So we also have this club 7 to worry about, this spade queen to worry about, and our trumps are kind of mediocre. So if partner has, say, the ace of king of spades or the ace of spades, king clubs, that's 7 points. And if they have, say, the king, queen of hearts, that's only 12 points. And slam is certainly very playable, right? As you can see, we have only the one top diamond loser, and we're certainly going to have the potential to either set up long spades or to set up our diamond suit. And since that's only 12 points, partner's hand could be even stronger than that. It turns out that it looks like they don't really clarify the strength of the splinter here. So it could be anything. In real life, I would recommend you always have at least 4 trumps for this kind of splinter. And I would also recommend you don't do it with bad hands. You should at least, as North, not be embarrassed about it, right? You should at least, when you put it down and slam, you don't want partner to flap their forehead and slink under the table. You want them to be like, okay, I can work with that. So I'm going to try for slam here is what I've decided. And it's because the shell I'm building for partner of the cards that I want him to have, the ace of spades, king, queen of hearts, king of clubs, for example, as one of the possible shells, is very attainable because it's only 12 points. And so I'm going to bid blackwood. I assume 4 no trump here is blackwood. Yeah. And see what he says. He has 1 or 4 key cards. So he has 1 key card. That means he doesn't have the shell we're hoping for, and we're just going to have to play 5 hearts. This was kind of a close decision over 4 diamonds because both the queen of spades and the king of diamonds might not be pulling full weight, but I thought the 5 level would likely be safe. As you can see here, the 5 level is a pretty safe contract. So this jack of spades really smells like a singleton. They're leading our main suit, the suit that we're most likely to set up for tricks instead of the unbid suit of clubs. So if East were to play more spades, I'd rough it high. I'm not taking any chances here. As it is, this hand is basically over, I think. I can play it carefully just to be sure, roughing a diamond in the dummy. Then we have the king 10 of spades to discard our other diamonds after we draw trumps. And that's that. So I assume I can claim. Not much to this. Yeah, so it was the singleton jack of spades, as you can see, not surprising. I don't know why East didn't try to lead another one and hope his partner had, say, 3 hearts to the jack and make me guess that, but he decided to do other things. Okay, we have here 19 points, very good hand, but we're kind of tripped up by East opening in our strongest suit. So usually with really good hands, I try to find a bid if I can, because partner is never going to believe you have 19 points if you don't start showing them now. Because usually, in my experience, and yours too, I'm sure, when people pass and then balance later, they're balancing. They have like a weak hand. They still want to defend at the 1 level or 2 level. And that's what partner's going to think. And there's going to be no way to convince him that you have 19 points. You're going to miss games. And the idea of trapping is not something I recommend that often, certainly not when the opponents are non-vulnerable. What ends up happening a lot is, okay, sure, this could go 1 spade, all pass, and you get plus 100 or something. Or maybe it goes 1 spade, pass 1 no trump, pass 2 hearts. Well, now what? What are you trapping now? You know, this is the kind of hand that if they did 4 hearts next over that, they're often going to make it. So I'm going to bid. It's a little bit too strong for a 1-yard trump over call, which is kind of 15 to 18. As against that, if I double, I'm going to have to bid no trump next, assuming partner responds to my double. And it's not really that great of a double then big 2-no kind of hand, right? Because like that shows like 19 to 21 maybe, but like our source of tricks and spades is really suspect because we know there's a stack of spades on our right. So let's say East has like 5 spades to the ace, king, 10, and our partner, let's even be generous, give our partner the doubleton and our left-hand opponent the singleton. We can lead up toward our spades twice and score the queen and the jack, but we're not making use of our 5th card in the suit or the 9. So it's much less valuable to have this kind of spade length when there's length with the opponents. So that's a downgrade. I would say this hard holding is also a downgrade because it's too many points in the doubleton. And if partner doesn't have any help for us in hearts, it's a really shaky stopper. So I'm actually just going to downgrade this to 18 points because we're vulnerable. And I'm going to overcall a no trump. And the reason that the vulnerability matters is because when I'm wrong, if I double and bid 2-no and it's a disaster and partner has the queen of clubs and the jack of diamonds and nothing else, and they lead hearts and take 4 hearts, 2 spades and a diamond for down 2, it's going to be a sickening feeling when we're vulnerable to go -200. Whereas when you're non-vulnerable, it's not as big of a deal. So West apparently has a diamond streak. It's really interesting to me that partner passed because it sure sounds like somebody's got the hearts. It ain't us. It doesn't sound like it's West. So partner will often have the hearts and didn't bid. I don't know if partner plays double. Yeah, doubles are for takeout. Partner didn't do that either. So, I mean, I'm just going to stick to my guns here and pass. This may not be our best result, but what can we do? Interesting. This dummy does not have a lot of diamond. So what are we going to do here? We have a likely hard trick and 2 certain club tricks, I would think. We might be able to give partner a club rush if that's a doubleton. If that's for 4, we can safely play ace and another club, I guess. Let's see what happens on the ace of clubs. 8 and then the jack. It looks like partner has jack 9 and tripleton, perhaps. I'm not sure why else he would do that. So I guess he's telling us that declare has the queen left and that we can't give him a rush. So do we want to play another club? But if we play another club, it looks like West will just be winning the queen and we'll be able to do whatever they want. Is there any reason to do anything else? We could exit the queen of spades right now. That's safe for now. What would be the advantage? I don't see any advantage. I mean, partner didn't lead a singleton spade, so they probably don't have it. So that means West has 1 or 0 spades. So we're not accomplishing. And it feels like if I do that and West crosses to their hand at clubs and plays ace of a diamond, I'm going to be end played to like lead more spades into that W, which I'm not going to love. So I'd rather not have to do that. So I'd rather keep my spades intact for later and just get out with the club anyway. So notice, by the way, that declare had queen 3rd of spades and partner had jack 3rd. If we could have been certain that partner led from a 3-card suit, something you can sometimes do is win the ace from ace king small and return your low one just to be sneaky and hope that declare gets taken in and plays low, but your partner wins the jack and crosses back to the king. Okay, so declare took the ace of diamonds and is now making a discard on the ace of spades. That's understandable. And is now playing another spade. Okay, well, we kind of like this because our friend is meant to overruff and play a heart, which declare is going to finesse. And now let's sit back and think about what we know about the shapes. I think usually when people bid 2 diamonds in a spot like this, they have 6 of them. In fact, it's alerted as 6 of them or 5 solid. And if we know they're not 5 solid because we have the king and the queen. So what that means is declare has 6 diamonds one spade, 3 clubs, and 3 hearts to start. And that means declare already threw 1 heart away on the spades and just took a heart finesse. So all they have left is 1 heart. So we have a few options here. We can play a spade, hoping to promote a trump for partner, or we can return our heart to Buenos Aires. I think the best play is to return the queen of spades, starting to promote something for partner, and let partner, if they do overrush something, play a heart back for us. Okay, partner apparently can't beat the 7 of diamonds, which means declares diamonds are pretty close to 7. And all we're getting is our 2 diamonds. So we do go plus, we're plus 50, and partner entire high cards consisted of the jack third of clubs. So I think we did well not to get too excitable here and go low, and we didn't have a fit. So yeah, I think this is probably as the best result we could reasonably do with these cards. All right, everyone, this was really fun. Thanks for having me back. By the time you see this, I believe I'll be in Philadelphia already. So if you see me there, say hello. If you did better than me on IntoBridge, I don't know you and I've never met you before, but you know, if I outscored you, make sure you talk to me and let me know. No, I'm just kidding. But thanks everybody, and have a great day. See you in Philly.